Welcome back to the warm up, everybody, with John Ben. Today, we're continuing our season outlook series with Golden State Warriors. But before we get into it, please like, comment, subscribe, turn the notifications, all that good stuff. And please follow our new social media tags on Instagram and Twitter as well. All right, we getting into the season outlook of the Golden State Warriors, who had a really good season after the Jimmy Butler trade after last year. Spent the whole summer with 8 people on their roster, but now they finally filled it out after they finally solved the Kuminga issue, which he resigns for a 3-year deal and basically, or 2-year deal, and basically becomes a human trade exception for this year's deadline. All right, walk us through the roster, Ben.
All right, let's do it. So, looking at the Golden State Warriors, we are going to start out probably, arguably, the most top-heavy roster in the NBA, giving out a bunch of cash to Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. You obviously still have the veteran defender in Draymond Green. You were able to retain Jonathan Kuminga by getting that situation sorted out. Moses Moody, Buddy Hield. You're able to bring in Al Horford to fill out that 5 position that has been sorely lacking. It's also really helpful because Kevon Looney just parted to New Orleans. DeAnthony Melton is back. He's re-signed. Pajemski is still on the roster as well. Santos, Trace Jackson Davis. Very top-heavy roster. You have committed max money to your top 2 guys in Steph and Jimmy. Obviously, looking at their age, Steph is approaching 37. Jimmy Butler is over 35. I don't know if I got those ages exactly correct. But looking at that, you have to say to yourself, like, look, we have a certain window here of winning. They have committed the next 2 years to say, look, these are the guys we're going to win with. We've paired Steph with Jimmy. We're going to go for it all here. You still believe in Draymond. You obviously have an incredible coach in Steve Kerr and some young guys that can complement them. You bring in Al Horford. A lot to look at here. What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, I liked all their acquisitions. They brought back Gary Payton II on a really team friendly deal. He's a really big part of what they do. Bringing in Al Horford, like you said, bringing that versatile stretch 5. They never really had that. And especially one with veteran experience, one that has championship experience, and it's going to be a real plug and play. I can see being a real problem come May and June. I think they're hoping for some internal growth with Brandon Pajemski. If he could take another leap, that could go a long way. But yeah, like you said, they're very top heavy with the 2 players. They're aging, but they owe it to Steph Curry to try to continue to win because he's everything for that franchise. Resigning Jonathan Kuminga wasn't my favorite thing as a Kuminga fan. Like we were talking off camera, we think he probably should have just left the Warriors. I think that relationship with him and Steve Kerr just isn't the best. But besides that, I mean, they have some interesting depth on their roster that if they want to go big game hunting come trade deadline, they have these bigger contracts that can match salary a little bit easier than other teams. They still have all 4 of their first round picks. So if things go sideways, they could still go big game hunting. But yeah, I think this team is going to go as good as the health lets them go. We saw Steph Curry, them extending the series against Houston in the playoffs last year was too much, and he ended up hurting his hamstring, was out for the remainder of the playoffs, and that sucks because you really don't know what you have when someone's hurt. But I think bringing everyone back and getting good marginally, I think is going to go a long way for this team.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that health is going to play a big role in this. When looking at them, you really have to ask the question of, like, look, do we trust Steph and Jimmy are going to be able to play a full season, and are they going to be able to stay healthy and produce? I don't know if I trust that if I am a Golden State Warriors fan. I know I trust their greatness when they're in the game, but I really do question if that's going to last because you did mention the Steph Curry injury, and I know that Jimmy Butler also has an unfortunate history with injuries. So, I'm really hoping that they're able to pull this together and have a good season because, I'd like to see Steph get one more ring before it's all said and done. And obviously, Draymond Green is still up there with the best defenders in the league. When you look at these Golden State rosters the past few years, ever since Kevin Durant departed, I think you and I can agree on this. Like Golden State's roster during the 2022 campaign wasn't like incredibly deep. It was about, the star power they had. They had Steph, and they obviously had Jordan Poole was playing at a high level, and Draymond was still that guy, and Clay was still hitting threes. He'd just come back from injury. So they had the guys necessary to get the job done playing at the highest level. But like their bench, I mean, like Gary Payton was playing decently well.
Otto Porter got off a
Otto
couple
Porter.
games. Wiggins.
Wiggins. Yeah, I mean, like, you had guys, but it wasn't like they were like the deepest team in the league because you're looking at some of these recent champions. I mean, they can roll out 11, 12 guys that they can realistically say, hey, we're going to beat you any way we want to. Like OKC, Boston, like 12-man, like deep teams. So
even that Denver team a couple of years ago as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had guys like Bruce Brown that were just coming off the bench scoring like 10 to 15 points in finals games. So it was like, Golden State, it's never really been about depth. It's been about, look, if we have our best player on the floor in Steph Curry, we're going to beat you. So you're obviously pairing him with a big-time guy in Jimmy Butler, and I'm really excited to just see their partnership continue because in a short sample size, they played great. And my question to you is this. If Steph doesn't get hurt, how far do they go last year?
I hate playing what-if games, but I do think they probably go 6 or 7 with Timberwolves. I mean, he had 12 points in the first quarter. I mean, he was cooking them. And even when he went down, they were still in those games in the playoffs. And I just think Steph Curry's off-ball movement is so underrated when you're playing on a lengthy, switchy team like Minnesota that sometimes the screen navigation isn't the best. And then if you got Curry coming off the screen, if you got Curry in the game, you're always gonna have a chance to win. He's one of the best players of this generation. He's one of the best point guards of all time. He's the best shooter of all time. Like I think they would have had a chance. I don't think they beat OKC. I think their age would have showed a little bit more. But yeah, if they ended up matching up against Denver, I think that's interesting because there's a lot of off-ball movement. Jokic would have to play up in the pick and roll. But I don't know. It's hard to say, but it would have been closer than 5 games.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the tape right now. Is Post still on the roster?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to mention that too. Post had a very nice campaign last year. That's another guy that I'd be like, okay, look, you can probably back him up in the Horford minutes. Also, Trace Jackson Davis. I know that he's had a much more decreased role, but he did show a lot of potential in some of his time in Golden State. So you have some big man options you can exercise with that. I think, Golden State has struggled to find a big man for so long. I mean, like even their finals team in 22, Looney was the starter. So, and obviously you tried your luck in the draft.
James Wiseman.
Yeah, when you drafted James Wiseman, thank you. And that obviously didn't work out. So I do think one thing with Golden State, they're definitely a team that I could see going big game hunting. I don't know if that means trying to make a big splash at the deadline or trying to enter the Giannis sweepstakes in the summer, which inevitably are probably on their way. I really don't know how the payroll would work since you're giving Steph and Jimmy so much money. There'd probably have to be a decent sizable like sign and trade. But this is a team that's kind of in that in-between phase of like, look, we have 2 guys that we trust. We have a window. I could potentially see this team. I think they can finish in the top 6. I'm not sold as of right now. I think this could definitely be a 7-8 play-in team if they're not healthy. If they play a fully healthy season, they could finish in the 5 or 6, which is kind of in the range we put the Clippers. So probably like Warriors 5, Clippers 6, something around there. That's kind of my prediction. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, if you look back to last year's Western Conference, um, 3 through 8 was all separate, all had the same record. It came down to division wins and all that. So I mean, us saying like they could finish 3 through 8 is not being disrespectful. It's just because the West is so close.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think depending on health, it's a 3 through 8 window for them finishing in the West. I will say, if I mean, we saw what Kaminga could do. When he gets the chance. I wonder if they go to him more in the regular season, just so these older players don't have to go get 30 and 35
Yeah.
every night, and they just like, okay, Rick or young kid, like go use your young athleticism, go get us like 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lean a little bit more on him. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. 3 to 8.
I'm a little worried about his fit with Jimmy Butler. I
Mm-hmm.
think these are two, like in my mind, they're two very similar play styles and how they play. Um, I just don't know how that fits. Like, do you start them both together? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you probably still bring Kaminga off the bench because what was the starting five last year? It was Steph, it was Pajemski.
Steph, Pajemski, Jimmy, I believe Kevon Looney, and then Draymond Green at the 4.
Looney started? No, Looney didn't start. Was it Buddy Hield?
Oh, that's true. They still have Buddy Hield. I believe like
One
they
of those.
tried a lot. I know that Post started some of the time.
Hmm.
Looney started for a little bit, and then a lot of the year actually they went small ball and put Draymond at the 5. That's
Okay.
what yeah. Draymond played a lot of 5. They were really trying stuff at the big man position, so they had to solidify that.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you bring in a guy like Al Horford, I mean, if you look at back to last year when he was on the Celtics, and the last couple of years he's been on the Celtics, he didn't play any back to backs. He didn't play
Yeah,
um like 30 minutes a night. They kept him in the 20 to 25-minute range. I don't know if the Warriors will be able to afford to have him in that range. Um, you want him just healthy for come playoff time because I do think a starting five of Curry, um, Draymond, Jimmy, Pajemski, or Buddy, and or Al, whatever you pick your poison, is a really
yeah,
good five to go out with.
yeah. Do some
Um,
damage.
yeah, so it's gonna be hard, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for joining us to the warm up today. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please also follow our new socials, as mentioned earlier, on Instagram and Twitter. Peace, and we'll see you next time.